Thanks for coming today. I think this topic is solid. And when you look at the title of it and you reflect on what you're doing and some of the issues you're having with serving more people in your community that you can help, this is going to be the issue. Once again, the beauty of this idea, this topic, this mindset, this did not come out of healthcare, yet applies to healthcare 130%. Again, it didn't come from healthcare, but it doesn't matter, right? We have to remember that people bring their expectations, people bring their experiences from their whole life into this healthcare world. So we in healthcare magically believe that we are different, that people think differently, people act differently, people expect differently in healthcare, and it's complete and utter bullshit. And why most healthcare practices and healthcare in general are having a horrible time getting the people they can help to engage them, and then engaging them, and then being a solution for them, plain and simple. And let's face it, people are people, and as people still are the deliverers of care, it's still about this social interaction, this communication, this listening, all these things I've talked about here in my podcasts and my YouTubes, on my Facebook Lives and my posts for years. It's still going to default to the human and the human interaction and how we do that. And that's what I'm speaking of here. And if you think people have a hard time making a decision about what shoes to buy or what jeans to buy, right, on the level of its impact on their life, then we should take a step back and go, holy Lord, we're asking people to make impactful decisions about their health, their well-being, their wellness, a future that they may or may not have, without acknowledging the process and the way they are looking and making decisions. And that's what this is all about. What are we? We're like 5 minutes in. We could cut it here. And if you guys went and reflected on all that and took that all back to your practices and reflect more on how people make choices, how you make choices, how people make decisions, how people need to be assisted along their journey within your healthcare practice, right? So understanding that patient life cycle and where they are. Perfect example, right, is the front desk. Right? This is why I always say the earlier in their journey with you, the bigger impact you can have. The earlier in their journey, you have to expend more energy earlier in the life cycle than you've ever expended. Because why? Because it'll pay off for everybody. The energy you expend earlier will return an ROI for your patient, for your business, for your providers, for everybody, right? We always said, no, we're going to burn as little energy as possible, get on and off the phone, get them scheduled, get them in the door, and then we're going to try to, in a manner of moments, one moment, the evaluation with the provider, expend all the energy and blow it all up and hope it sticks, right? And I'm saying, no. Let's distribute that. Let's start the higher energy. The higher input, right? The time, the money, the energy. And then by the time people arrive in your clinic, that now here's all this energy we burn, and then we level it off. And there's no better analogy than a rocket ship taking off. It's something, I'm going to make a number up, but it is what it is. It's something like a rocket ship burns like 85% of its energy in the first like 20 minutes. 30 minutes. And then after that, it's just smooth sailing. It's not like, oh, let's just get it up there and get it out there, and then we turn the engines on. No, it's like all that freaking energy, all that fuel, all that money, all the technology to get it like the first 15 minutes. And after that, right? I mean, what's the worst time? What's the biggest impact on most of these space flights? It's the first 30 minutes, right? Getting it into orbit. It's the same thing. We've got to look further upstream and understand that we're going to burn, or should burn, more of our time, money, and energy earlier in this patient's life cycle so we can level it off. Just get it orbiting in space. Right? Then we can cool the jets, no pun intended. We can diminish the fuel burn. We can diminish the input to the whole system. Let's just be aware of what's going on. We still monitor, right? I think this is a great analogy for this. And so this topic has exactly to do with this, because you got to burn more energy figuring out that person and what it is they're seeing, what it is they're perceiving, what it is they're hearing before they ever step foot into your clinic, practice, office. And if you do that and spend all that energy on the front end, then the people who arrive will pay and stay, right? So let's get them, let's burn, pay and stay, right? Which is interesting because most people just focus on the pay and stay. And I'm like, yeah, but you can't have pay and stay without the arrival. And all the work goes into the arrival. The pay and the stay is just a result of all the work you put in before they arrived. See how this all works. So let's talk about this, right? What people are seeing, what people are hearing. So let's get into this topic, because this topic is really important for you to start understanding why, when you don't distinguish yourself as an expert versus a commodity, you are creating more uncertainty for the people in your community that you can serve. As you know, our goal here, 25-8 366, is to decrease fear, doubt, and uncertainty in a potential patient client's journey, and then actual client or patient's journey within the life cycle in your practice, business, clinic. When I work with new clients, frequently going back to you're creating uncertainty. You're creating uncertainty. Uncertainty kills the arrival. Write that down. Uncertainty kills the arrival. And if your goal, which should be, by the way, uncertainty does not kill a scheduled. A scheduled does not pay your bills. A scheduled equates to very little success or financial impact or KPIs in your business. It's about arrival, and uncertainty kills arrival. Fear, doubt, and uncertainty kills arrival. First visit arrival. When someone is looking for you, they find you. But I would go back when you hear this explanation and look at your website, expert versus commodity. 99.9% of the websites out there have commoditized themselves. I don't know of any owner I've ever spoken to who would own it. Do you want to be a commodity or do you want to be an expert? Oh, we're not a commodity. Oh no, it's the worst thing we could do is battle on price. I'm like, you commoditized yourself on your website. So they find you, they see your website. There's some uncertainty. There always is, right? The journey is to decrease uncertainty. Remember, we're trying to control the process so we can best predict the outcome. And the best we can do is mitigate the risk of a no-show, of a non-arrival. So how do I decrease the risk? These people are bringing fear, doubt, and uncertainty into the relationship. That's the first acknowledgement. And nobody ever acknowledges that. So we do nothing to it. We haven't decreased the risk of them not arriving. And what do? They don't arrive, but that's cool. I got more new patients in the funnel. Rinse, repeat. So they come with that uncertainty and then they call you, right? And you're claiming you are an expert. And then your front desk process, your front desk sales team, the people that are responsible for growth of the business, the people that are responsible to begin this patient successful journey within your clinic, practice, business, do nothing to diminish the uncertainty and actually commoditize. And this is the technical business term, commoditize the fuck out of your business. If you guys look in my the Facebook post for this video, everybody will tell me, right, I'm not a commodity, we're experts. And I'm like, man, I got on that secret caller. And again, no fault to the front desk person. It's the way they've been trained. It's the way they weren't trained. So they default to what's easiest for them. And then all you get is the commodity. Scheduling someone for physical therapy is commoditizing. Scheduling someone for a time they requested for physical therapy is still a commodity. Scheduling someone with a physical therapist for physical therapy at 10:30 is a commodity. So what you're doing is exactly what I wrote in my post. You're sitting in the middle. There is no middle here. There is no gray. There's black, there's white. You're either an expert or you're a commodity. If you commit, here's a kicker too. Be the commodity if you want, but own it. McDonald's, boatload of commodities out there killing it, taking over the world, dominating everything. So I'm not here to say don't be a commodity. I'm here to say don't sit in the middle. Be the expert or the commodity. Because here's something I want you to really, really think about. Commodities are undifferentiated. Only thing that differentiates a commodity is price. As soon as you start fighting on price, right? Sell service, any of those things. As soon as you start fighting on price, it becomes about the price. And they are undifferentiated. It's a hamburger joint. It's all of them. And that's why there's always the price wars, right? Because they have undifferentiated themselves. Unlike Apple that sells computers, software, music players. And if they chose to sell those things, because they don't sell those, if they chose to be a commodity, they would lose, right? You know, what's funny is Apple only has, like, Google it. Google how much of the cell phone market Apple owns. Google how much of the software side they own, probably less than anything. Google how much of the hardware side of computers Apple has, right? So if they were going to fight on price, they would have lost a long time ago and they would have been gone. They're like the 5th richest country in the world because Apple are experts. They're a brand. They're not a commodity, right? Yet there are great commodities out there. So your client, your potential client, patient in your community that actually you can serve, you could serve, comes to your website and they're uncertain, they have some fear, they have some doubt, yet they're going to give it a try. They then call your clinic, and your clinic manages them as a commodity, because within the first 3 questions, they ask, what is your insurance? There is no quicker way, write this down if you're in network, there is absolutely no quicker way to commoditize you and your business practice clinic than asking someone for their insurance within the first 3 questions. You've just told them the most important thing. You've told them why you are the best fit for them. We will get that information on the first phone call, but way after everything else, the selling of the expert, right? So as soon as your front desk does that, you've commoditized yourself. Boom. Cool. These guys are, well, and you're telling me, great. Hey, I serve all these people, because the first thing I ask them is, what is their insurance? And I'm like, cool, you're a commodity. No, we care for people. I'm like, cool, but they're choosing you because you're a commodity. You can care for people when you're a commodity. No, we're the experts. I'm like, then stop asking people their insurance. Sell them on something else. Then ask them, how do they want to pay? Be the expert. When you do that, when you choose the commodity side, you've told everybody that they have other choices. You've undifferentiated yourself, and you've told people that there are substitutes that are cheaper. The healthcare world is drowning, right, in undifferentiated healthcare practices. Do you take my, and that's the same person who calls and asks you, do you take my insurance? You're undifferentiated. They have no idea what you do. And if you ask them, right, what do you need? I need help with my low back pain. Well, what were you thinking about? Well, I wasn't sure if I needed chiro, I needed physical therapy, I needed a personal trainer, I needed a massage. I'd go, there you go. Undifferentiated healthcare practices, businesses, right? If you are playing the middle, or you have chosen the commodity side, you've chosen to undifferentiate yourself and be the same as everybody else, which is okay, but you can't sit in the middle, right? And it's the availability of those substitutes. So check this out, get ready for this. It's the availability of those substitutes and knowing that people can choose other places that are in network that can help people with their back pain that causes you to pitch more of a commodity. Because then you, in your rush to differentiate yourself, start offering, right, free visits and God knows whatever else, right? Quick phone calls and right, and whatever it is. So again, I would ask these clinics, are you an expert or a commodity? And they'll tell me they're experts. And I'm like, well, then why on the first phone call, right, when you're trying to help people understand why they should choose you, why is there no conversation around the expert? There's only conversations around the visits, and they're free and they're 30 minutes and there's no commitment and there's no everything else. I'm like, you don't see experts offering those things because experts understand how they're different, what they can deliver, right? Experts have an expertise in something. What is that? It's not physical therapy, right? Physical therapy is undifferentiated. You can't be an expert in physical therapy and expect people to choose you. Well, my DPT says I'm an expert in physical therapy. And say, no, your DPT says you're an expert that can help a certain group of people achieve whatever the hell they want to achieve. Now, if you just started from that today, if that's your only takeaway, my DPT says I am an expert that can help a certain group of people achieve their goals and outcomes, then I'm like, you're on your path to expertise and away from the commoditization of your practice, business, clinic, right? This is what happens, right? Well, I'm an expert. I can help these people. And so when they call, so I can prove it, I send them all to a free discovery visit. Or when they call, right, I get them scheduled as quickly as possible, and I don't learn anything about them. I just got to get them here so I can prove I'm an expert. Well, in your journey to get them there, in your lack of work on the front end, right, you've created more uncertainty. And then they no-show. And you go, here, follow along. I'm going to go off this tangent, come right back. And then they no-show and you say, fuck my marketing didn't work. And I'll go, your marketing worked dead on. It got you the lead. It got you the call. It got you this person and this opportunity to have a conversation about your expertise. It's not a marketing problem, people. They delivered. Right? You took a person who came into your world and wanted a solution that you were selling. You quickly moved them through because you believed they had to arrive to understand the value of what you can deliver. So bear with me. So you started to commoditize your business from the second they called. And then they don't arrive and you say, my marketing failed me. And I'm like, no, your sales process failed you. So understanding if you are an expert or a commodity allows you to build out the best sales system that will increase the likelihood, remember, risk mitigation here, of a first visit arrival. If you want to commoditize your business, I'll put together a sales process for you to get people in. Yet, I'm here to tell you, right? The world's full of that. The competition's bigger. And believe it or not, people, there is a small market out there. Sorry, there's not a small market. There's a huge market. There's a small pool of healthcare practices selling themselves as experts. And those are the ones you get pissed off at. It's always funny because the people who don't understand the difference of what they're selling and if they're an expert or commodity are the ones that complain about the insurance industry the loudest. They're the ones that complain about people going to the chiros. They're the ones that complain about people going to the massage therapists or personal trainers, right? Man, I can't believe they're advertising physical therapy. And I'm like, who cares physical therapy? And they're, by the way, that trainer's commoditizing the hell out of themselves and doing it very well. And then you say, I'm the expert. They're stealing my business. I'm like, no, they're finding people that are attracted to that. And they've set up a sales process and a marketing process that addresses that. So again, let me double back. Are you an expert or are you a commodity? And it has to be reflected in your website, in your marketing. It has to be reflected in your sales process. It has to be reflected in your retention process. And I would argue it has to be reflected in your pricing. People choose the expert. I've shared this before. I actually have a sheet. There's JOSPT articles and there are other articles in other medical journals. I just remember I went through about 4 or 5 of them. I pulled them all together and it was, what do patients want, right? And I read all the research. Yes, you heard that here. I read all this research and I said, what do people want? And I pulled out all the commonality of what they want in the medical journal and the physio journal. And I made a list. And then I created a process, which really is by the way, which is really where my client experience company and my work in the front end sales stuff has evolved to. And I looked for that commonality and I wrote a lot of it out. And as I niched it down, I made sure, right, I wasn't, some of the things was about communication, right? What do they want from healthcare providers? It was like tactics and communication skills. And I was like, that's easy. I'll bake that into the rest of this. People want an expert. It's in the fucking science. We're less than 30 minutes in. People want an expert. So when you turn around, this is interesting as hell. I've done this, right? This has been done to me. I call and say, hi, my name's Jerry. I have a little back pain. I want to schedule physical therapy. They ask me a couple questions and they say, great. So this is how it works here. Your first visit is a free discovery visit. And I'm like, by the way, in my mind, you just devalued your expertise. You just commoditized. You didn't ask me how I wanted to pay. You didn't ask me when I wanted to come in. You didn't ask me what kind of visit I wanted. You didn't even tell me what a visit entails. You just jumped straight to the free, totally commoditized, totally devalued the expertise. That person calling wants an expert for their low back pain. They will then hang up with your clinic and they will call a chiro who says, I can help you with your back pain. I am an expert in helping people with back pain. And by the way, it's as simple. I am an expert in helping people with low back pain. I understand your back. I understand what it is you want and need from me. I've got an appointment on Thursday, right? It'll be this long. This is what'll happen. I need you to come 5 minutes early. You know their name, you know they're an expert, you know how they can deliver the results you want. Boom, that person goes to the chiro. And then you go, son of a bitch, I'm giving away free visits and everything else. And the chiro's clinic is full. And I'm like, no shit. The biggest issue in this conversation, this expertise and commodity, and you've heard me cross the line many a times, is you're living in the middle. Your website says you're the expert, and then your process to get a rival says you're a commodity. So I go to your website, you've decreased. By the way, I go to your website, I see your marketing. You're decreasing my uncertainty. I'm going, seems right. I call, and then the process commoditizes the fuck out of it, devalues the expert, increases my uncertainty, increases the risk of me not arriving, and boom, you just undid yourself because you're living in the middle. See the opposite too. And this is really, this is the majority, right? The commoditized website, the timed visits, the service. By the way, when you list your services on the website, you're commoditizing it. Here's a little trick. Here's another take home. This is about the fourth take home and thing you could practice today. The services are under the direction of the expert. Oh, do you have dry needling? Well, yes, we do. That is one of the services that our experts here at ABC Physiotherapy, right? That's one of the services that they utilize. And if that's something you're looking for, then I can make sure that your expert is aware of that. You like that? I mean, that just flipped the commodity conversation to the expert. And that's how I train the teams and I get people to move that shit all the time. I'm like, you got to get rid of it. We do lasers, we do this, we do that. By the way, exercise. They can get exercise for fucking cheaper. Exercise is a commodity. If you're going to be the expert in exercise, tell people how you're the expert. Show them. I got no problem with this exercising everybody. Exercise is a huge solution, but exercise is not the solution to uncommoditize or to differentiate yourself. Everybody's goddamn, right? I teach squats. Holy Lord Jesus. You're a PT who teaches squats. Wow, that's a differentiator today. Just bear with me. I got no issues with PTs teaching squat. It doesn't make you the expert and give anybody a reason why they should choose you. Just bear with me on this. I'm not bashing any model. I'm bashing the way you sell it. I'm bashing the way you advertise it. I'm bashing the way you treat the people who could actually use your expertise and want to exercise more. And you create all this fear, doubt, and uncertainty. And then you think the solution is to give them more free stuff and to lower your prices, and they're gone, right? And it's that disconnect. It's that gray. This is back to that gray. You're living in the gray. You got to own your expertise. If you're not willing to own your expertise and sell your expertise, you will fail. You will constantly be battling this line. You'll constantly be looking for more marketing help, which won't solve your issue of crossing the expert to commodity gray zone. You'll be constantly, by the way, I've worked with clinics this year, churning through front desk people because, right, they preach the expertise, and when it comes to their systems, they commoditize the hell out of the business and the way they manage people and the conversations they want them to have, and withholding price and waiting till they arrive for price without any expectations. I'm like, right? The fact that you don't know how to undifferentiate yourself leads you to the processes that hold back all these other things. You guys have heard me say on multiple occasions, my goal is that pre-arrival, they're already bought. The only way someone can be bought pre-arrival, meaning they're going to walk in and they're going to schedule out a plan of care. They're going to do whatever the expert recommends. Is we got to manage that process in the mindset of we are the experts. This is what we do. And this is what you will get, Mr. or Mrs. New Patient, from your expert. What do they want? What do they expect? Who are they seeing? And what will they get on that first visit? And how much will it cost? If you can check those 4 to 5 boxes at the end of the phone call, your arrival rate will increase. Because if you're checking those 4 to 5 boxes, you are selling an expert. Again, this came off of the, right? You can be the expert squat person, but boy, right? Sell the fact you're the expert in that, right? Not you're an expert in exercise and I'm a PT who treats exercise and I'm tired of everybody going to the personal trainers. I'm like, stop. It's your fault. The insurance company stuff, it's our fault. In fact, people in your community you can serve are not finding you or not scheduling with you is 101% your fault, not the other person's. Take control of that stuff. Differentiate yourself, own your expertise, then own the process, right? Own the marketing, own the selling, own the retention process that constantly says you are the expert, right? This is the take home. Let me just roll this all up. Be the expert or be the commodity. You can't be both. Own whichever one you are. Now, let me go down the path. I recommend the expert. The expert world is a lot smaller. The market's the same. The market size is the same for the expert as the commodity. It is, because they're looking for the solution. But the people that will choose to do business with you because you are an expert will spend more money. So, because remember, you got out of the commodity game. They will choose you. They will arrive. They will pay. They will stay. You guys heard this somewhere before? And if you understand the 4 to 5 boxes that need it, you're right, the marketing side of it, the sell side, you almost need to watch these in reverse order, right? This video needs to be rolled back to about 12 weeks ago. And if you start watching this, then everything else makes even more sense. Because, right, I've been preaching about this forever. We sell the expert. Go back. You'll hear it. Sell the expert. That's all people want. The rest of it, they can get elsewhere. People can get exercise elsewhere. They can get dry needling elsewhere. They can get lasers elsewhere. There's really nothing on your treatment and services page they can't get elsewhere. And here, I'll kick it up one worse for you. The majority of people believe they can get physical therapy anywhere. So the first question, I love training people on when someone calls and says, I need physical therapy. I'm like, cool. In case you missed it, my name's Jerry. Let me use David Bailiff here. David, so glad you called us here at ABC Physiotherapy. Sorry to hear you got back pain. I can definitely help you get scheduled. There's a few things I need to do first. And first and foremost, I want to ask you, what does physical therapy mean to you? Boom. Differentiator. Remember, the commoditized world lives in an undifferentiated area. You tell me you want physical therapy, within the first 30 seconds, I'm going to get your definition of physical therapy. Now I can differentiate myself. Yeah, my doctor wrote me a script. I'm calling for physical therapy. Awesome. Let's get you scheduled. I'm like, no. So tell me, why is it you went to the doctor? Tell me, what is physical therapy to you? Right? Fuck, I love this. Man, I got like 4 notebooks out, all right. I've been just burrowing into all this and taking this stuff down. It's a huge solution. Remember, this all doubles back to what people are looking for. Uncertainty is your arrival killer. And when I secret call your clinic and you schedule me for physical therapy at 10:30 and tell me to call back with my insurance card, you are the most undifferentiated mass of healthcare practices out there. And that's all I know about your clinic. Sorry, I may know more, but you don't know anything about it. And you did nothing to differentiate yourself with me. So this is not right. And we're just going to talk about the expert side of it. This is not an in-network, out-of-network cash PT conversation. This isn't a one-on-one. By the way, a one-on-one model is barely the differentiator. A group model for exercise is not a differentiator. So you got to get away from all that stuff. All that stuff is not differentiators. So it doesn't matter your practice model or your payer model. You must sell the expertise of that person that Dave Bailiff is going to see, not for his low back pain, but for what he wants, which is his desired outcomes. I listened to a string of calls yesterday, 5 new patient calls yesterday before I went to bed. So it was the last thing I did. So it's sitting in my head today. 5 phone calls. One went 5 minutes. The rest went 9 minutes or more. On a couple of those 9-minute calls, they didn't even schedule the people. On none of those calls, none of them, 5 minutes, 9 minutes, 11 minutes, 13 minutes, did we know anything about the person other than their name, their doctor's name, their diagnosis, and their insurance. That is the 99 percentile, or is that the 1 percentile? I always get that backwards. 99% of the time, that's the results. The completely undifferentiated experience of calling a healthcare practice. And then someone's going to no-show. You're going to go, fuck, I knew they were going to no-show. It's because of their insurance. Oh, it's because of their doc. It's like, no, it's because of you. You did nothing to differentiate yourself. You kept uncertainty high, and they chose not to arrive. Boom. That's it. That's the solution. That's the solution. That's why my prices are going up. The results that have been delivered recently, this is it. This is it. It's the same template, same structure, same format for everybody. It doesn't care if you're in network, out of network, cash PT. Doesn't matter. How do I understand each step? And then how do I reach the objective? What's the ultimate goal of phase 2 of your patient's life cycle? Patient arrival. Oh, we get people scheduled. I'm like, by the way, getting people scheduled is commoditizing. Getting people to arrive would force your team and force you, the person training, to go, how do I have to do this? This was going to be short and sweet. Was this short and sweet? Yeah, I'm looking at the clock. This wasn't short and sweet, my friends. God damn, this is 40 fucking minutes of everything you need to take your clinical skills and package them up, learn the business side of how am I going to sell those clinical skills so I can deliver this excellent care, and I believe you, to the people in my community. We've got to embrace this knowledge of business and the business process to impact and get the attention and to get arrival of those people we can sell to deliver these skills to. That's it. That's it. That's it. And those are 2 fucking different worlds. Your clinical skills are not going to grow your business. Your expertise is going to grow your business. Your expertise is going to allow you to charge more money. Your expertise is going to allow you to find more people in your community who are the right fit for your expertise. All right. This was fun as all hell. All right, everybody. I appreciate your time and your energy. If you want to talk about this further, okay. Hey, I'm pitching. Pitch time. I'm selling. Someone yesterday said all Jerry does is sell. So you know what? I'm selling. I'm selling. I'm selling. I can help you with all this. There you go. If you want help, reach out to me in my messaging. By the way, we're going to have a conversation. What are we going to have a conversation around? Everything I just told you. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions about you. I'm going to make sure you know what I'm the expert in, and then you're going to make a choice. Do you want my expertise or not? I practice what I preach. There's no obligation. And I'd be foolish to sign you up for anything without a conversation. Everybody's like, oh, I'm tired of getting pitched, people asking for phone calls. I'm like, I won't do business with anybody that won't have a phone call with me. Sorry, from the other side, as a consumer. I'm on a phone call, right? You owe me that phone call. I'm going to spend a lot of money. I've spent more money in the last, and I just signed up for another course. I've spent more money in the last 12 months on education and training with experts. And the last one I signed up for is the most expensive, shortest. I totaled the number of hours I get from this person, and it is the most per hour I've ever paid anybody. Why? Because he's a fucking expert, right? And I've had access to all this stuff. Did he get on the phone with me? Nope. Did I sign up for the course and magically have an personal invite from this person's team on LinkedIn? Yep. And I'm like, right? So the experience of this expert and everything else is all fitting in together. Right? How are they different? How are they different? How are they different? Right? It's all over their website how they're different. Every conversation I've ever heard them hear is different. So this person has done an awesome job differentiating themselves from anybody else who is in the space that I was looking for more education. And now the experience, right? So, right, it's about a process. It's about a journey. They understand that early on. Marketing, right? And then the sales was the emails, right? Setting me up, roll the product out, boom, bought. Couldn't buy fast enough. I actually canceled the call yesterday because I was in the middle of signing up. That's how important it was to me to engage this expert who was different, which brings us to, right, cancels. People don't cancel when they're scheduled with an expert. People complete plans of care. People arrive when they're scheduled with an expert. You think I'm going to miss any of this content or a moment of that time? Yahoo Yippity. Thanks for coming. If you want to have a conversation around you and what you need, and if I'm the right fit for you, I'll make sure you understand how I can help you. If I tell you how I can help you and you don't need that help, that doesn't make either of us wrong, right? I'm an expert in this, not this. Cheers. Appreciate it. Everybody have a great Tuesday. Can't wait till everything gets back to normal. And my Giants are at 500, baby. Baseball's back. Cheers.